Welcome to the Crystal Earth Podcast, brought to you by the Crystal Earth Gallery, your mineral and bead emporium. I'm your host, Nic Scogna, and each week we're going to dive deep into the fascinating world of gemstones. From their physical properties to their metaphysical powers, we're going to explore what makes each stone unique. Plus, we'll occasionally be joined by special guests who share their expert insights, their offerings as well. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting your journey, there's something here for everyone. Let's discover the wonders and treasures of the earth. Hello and welcome to another show with the Crystal Earth. And we are doing our show today on amber. Now, if this is an interest to you and you like crystals, you like having the discussion about minerals and gemstones and want to talk rocks, please subscribe to the show and help us get to our next 100 subscribers. We're on our way up and we want you to join us. So jump in and share a comment of your favorite stone in the comment section. So without further ado, we're going to dive deep into amber. Now, I recently did an amber show called Amber Vision, and we're going to be doing more of those as I sort through lots and lots of specimens of amber that have insects and inclusions in them. I'd hope you join us for our next one and check out the one we just did. This show is the Crystal Chronicle on amber, so we're going to learn about amber and find out all the little details about where it's from and what it is and maybe how to ID it, as well as how to use it in a metaphysical sense. So here we're going to have a video that from that episode, the first Amber Vision. And you can see that there are some little inclusions inside. And so we have this wonderful view into the past with amber. Now, I may say stone, I may say gemstone or crystal or rock. Amber is a fossil, so it is a petrified organic matter, not a crystal or a gemstone or stone. But I may say it because it's just part of the way it works in the rock world. Look at this beautiful rock. Really meaning, look at this beautiful fossil amber. Okay. Now let me see if I can get this bigger on the screen so that we can really see it. And that's about as good as we're going to get right there. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about amber so that we can get an idea as to, what we're looking at here. As you can see, this piece and most of what I carry are Colombian ambers. They are of the younger sort in ambers. And the oldest amber that we have right now, I believe, goes back to 100 million years. There aren't a lot of Jurassic sources for amber, as opposed to that great movie, the Jurassic Park, where they find a little bit of mosquito blood or blood in a mosquito from a dinosaur and find the DNA. That is an actuality, but it's not as common as you would assume. The formation process for amber is that these are some form of tree that, from what I understand, for at least Colombian, that the tree is an extinct species. The sap would flow out while it was living and just kind of ooze out everywhere. And as it did, it would capture things along its way. And that would be sticks and twigs and leaves and bugs, lots and lots of bugs. One of the things we see a lot of is termites. and of course mosquitoes. And these are going to be very insects that you would find in the woods readily. Also flies, bees. I know that there was a portion of a lizard that was found. The time that it typically takes for amber to form into a solidified, petrified fossil is around 30 million years old. You'll find younger things called copal, which is usually an incense that's burned. The copal incense from Mesoamerica, from Central America, was temple incense. It was burned to dispel negative energy. And that's kind of how it's used these days as well, metaphysically. But we'll get into that a little later. The hardness of amber will range between 2 to 2.5 on the Mohs scale. It's soft. It's very soft. If you wear it in jewelry, you'll need to have the surface rebuffed, maybe within a year, because of the wear and tear on it. It's not a really good stone to be worn on like a ring or something like that. Although it looks beautiful, you got to be very careful with it because it is a softer stone. It has a light specific gravity of 1.05 to 1.1. It's very light. And I would give this piece to somebody, a piece of amber, and then I would give them a piece of celestite, which we'll get into in a later show. Very heavy specific gravity on one and super light on the other. And people are really shocked. You can get a really large piece of amber. It's so light in the hand. So a couple of the areas where amber is found, the Baltic being the top source and the most popular source for amber for eons. The Baltic amber was traded in Egypt, in Roman times, the Greeks, the Middle East. Everybody traded with the Baltic amber. It was readily found and is still readily found there. And it is an old amber and is very hard, and it comes in a lot of different colors. There's a lot of variety to the Baltic amber, making it really prized and considered to be, I guess, Northern Europe. There's also the Dominican amber, which is really nice, has a lot of UV qualities to it. You can have the blue amber from the Dominican, which is really, really nice, really solid pieces. Akin to another location, which I love, Mexico, the Chiapas amber, some of my favorite amber. You get a lot of organic material. What you'll see in some of these pieces here, this darker, dense, I'm not really sure what it is, leaves or what it was, I should say. And now it's petrified. You also get pyrite in the Mexican amber, which from my experience is still in a state of oxidization and is slowly decimating in the piece. So it can actually, if it's polished, the air exposure can be a detriment unless it's sealed with some kind of sealer. Then you have your Colombian amber, which is what I typically carry. Lots of bugs, lots of great inclusions, and not necessarily the price tag that you would find in other pieces of amber. Being considered a young amber, it just doesn't fetch the higher price, but it is really beautiful. And I have over 1,000 pieces of the jewelry size that just loaded with bugs and insects, and most of which I haven't even gone through yet, which is why I'm doing the Crystal Vision videos. I did 10 stones, 10 pieces of amber the last video, and really nice specimens is what you're looking at in this video here. And I don't necessarily know what's in them. Typically what I'll do is I'll quickly look through a magnifying loupe to see what's inside really briefly, and then put a price tag on it, and then you put it out for sale. This is allowing me to really get the eagle eye, the magnifier eye into the stone to see, like, what are we looking at here? And if there's anything special too, because if you find something really unique in amber, it can fetch quite a good price. Now here we have, I'm not even sure what that is. I think it might be a part of a bee, but you can't tell with the legs. I'll zoom in on that in a later portion of this video here. We also have Burmese amber, Myanmar, very old. I think this is the location for the 100 million-year-old amber. Lots of great, amazing things coming out of this location. And I believe they found an ammonite, a fossilized spiral fossil within the fossil, which is basically a fossil now that I know of from the ammonite as being related to the chambered nautilus of today, and that had a bottleneck occurrence, a die-off, about 350 million years ago. Now, I don't know that the Burmese is that old, so I think it's really interesting that an ammonite is inside of one of these pieces. And then, of course, Canada has some amber. Where I used to live outside of Philadelphia in New Jersey, there's amber there as well, and Japan. There's amber pretty much wherever there was an ancient forest with this type of pine tree or sap oozing tree all over the world. And it's just a matter of, if that ancient forest, that beyond ancient forest, has been exposed out of the ground. The material that I get from Colombia was from a landslide that they discovered. They initially discovered this source of amber, which is pretty amazing. So the inclusions are really what make amber. Amber's beautiful, the color's wonderful, but it's the things inside, plant matter, the air bubbles, the water bubbles. I found a few with water bubbles, and of course the variety of insects that allows us to do scientific research into the past through these insects that are found in the amber. And then, of course, colors the variety is there. You'll get green, you'll get blue, you'll get nice cherry, red, orange is very common, like a cognac color. And then, of course, this yellow and what you call butterscotch from the Baltic, which is like a yellow, milky white and yellow. Beautiful, beautiful material. There was the Amber Road back in the day, and that's part of what brings about a lot of the historical significance for amber. It was very, very prized. It was thought to be part of the sun. So it has a long history in science as well as in aesthetics. So it has, use in jewelry you'll find in back in the day and all that as well. And of course, this DNA thing with amber, that is a reality. It does allow for scientific research with DNA in the amber because these specimens are petrified. They're preserved fairly intact. Now, obviously, the DNA erodes and corrodes, but it doesn't stop the ability for them to be able to look at these amber pieces. And so there's been a lot going on with amber, in that regard. So amber had a use in medicine and in aromatherapy. One of the more common things you find out about amber is the teething necklace is used. It seems to help with teething in babies if they're wearing a necklace of amber. And this seems to be very commonly understood. And then, of course, you have that great Jurassic Park reference to amber, being that they found dinosaur DNA and they were able to recreate the dinosaurs based on what they found in this piece of amber. I believe it was Dominican, but I could be wrong. And Dominican doesn't get to be that old, but it made for a really, really good movie. Now, as far as the formations, I've seen log-shaped. A lot of them are flow-shaped that look like they were flowing and then petrified, and just a lot of really big, chunky pieces that are often broken up or fall apart and then are polished out into smaller pieces. One of the more interesting facts about amber is the Greek name for amber is electron, with a K, electron. And that would be the root word of electricity, because amber can produce static electricity when rubbed. It's also one of the ways that you can ID it against plastic or glass. But you can usually tell glass, but plastic and amber are so close. So I believe that somebody showed me you get a newspaper with heavy print on it, and you rub the stone, and you put it to the newspaper and the little tiny square of it, and it will stick to the amber if it is amber, whereas it won't stick to plastic. And this is what I was told. Now, if somebody want to do that, put it in the comments if I'm right or wrong. Feel free. I'd love to know, if that's it's an actuality. I did do it, and I can't remember if it was the plastic that stuck or the amber, but I'm pretty sure the static electricity that's held in the stone is what grabs the newspaper print. The largest amber stone ever found, apparently, is at 50 pounds. Now, note again that it's very light. But this is in the National History Museum in London. It's 50 pounds. And then you have, of course, the very rare fluorescent under the UV light, blue amber. Now, I have put my UV light to the Chiapas amber, and I get a really nice green color. But the blue amber is the Dominican, most specifically. When you put up the UV to it, it goes blue, which is really neat. So Colombian amber, again, about 12 to 18. It's in the teens as far as the million-year-old. I had heard that there was some certifications to verify it to be older, but I don't know that beyond 25 million years old. Either way, it's really old. No matter which way you shake it, it's a pretty old stone or a pretty old fossil in Colombia. So as far as the metaphysical goes, well, we're looking at an organic material. We're looking at something from the past, and we're looking at something that's been preserved, frozen in time. And so that we can look at that as something that will help us go into the past and look to the past to see what has been preserved there for the better or worse. A lot of those things are usually for the worse, and we want to work on those more heavier issues in our past. So we would look back and we would say, okay, this is this moment in time that's frozen in me, and I'm going to utilize this amber to unstick it and transform the negative into a positive. So there's a transformational process that happened from it being organic sap to it becoming petrified fossil, and therefore it also will help on that to bring up the negative and transform it into a positive experience. So very helpful in doing past life work and work in your past as well. Draws out negative energy and promotes emotional healing for that reason. Now, it is said to act kind of like, I would always say, acts like the sun in its transmutational properties. It is said to help increase energy levels and vital life force and manifestation. And I would say, look at the color, manifestation where, manifestation of power, manifestation of creativity. If you're looking at your yellow and your orange amber. Your solar plexus and your sacral are the main chakras that are used with amber, and it's what you're mostly going to find in amber is this yellow and orange. If you happen to have a blue piece or a green piece or butterscotch, butterscotch would probably be also a solar plexus, but you'll be looking at a different chakra that it will be assisting. But it is believed to bring warmth, prosperity, and clarity into your life, and to act as a bridge between the past and the present, which is really nice. Numerologically, it will correspond to the number 3, and astrologically to Leo. And like I said, I love amber. I carry amber. It's one of my favorite stones. I like it for its scientific aspects, and I like it for its visual aspects, and I also love it for the feeling that I get off of it, which is really, really a lot of neat. It's a neat vibe type of stone that I really like a lot. And now for me, I think that everybody should have at least a specimen of amber. It's one of those great collection type of stones where, you know, this is something that I feel like everybody should have a piece of. And it's fairly inexpensive, so it's not like an impossible thing to purchase. Let's see if I can get back up here. There we go. One of the things that I love about amber is that it has that window and can be made into a looking glass of sorts as a nice way to look at that clarity in amber. If you've seen crystal balls and spheres, and this allows people to start gazing, amber is also really wonderful to do that with. You might not want specific insects and things like that, but as far as a cirrus stone, amber is pretty amazing. But again, the scientific world benefits from amber heavily because of there's always a new discovery being found in amber. So it's really a dynamic stone, a fossil. And does anybody else call it a stone or a rock or anything like that, or is it just me? But I have trouble zooming in on the fact that it's a fossil, that it's petrified organic matter and not necessarily a stone as far as hardness and all that goes. But beautiful in jewelry. It glows against silver. I love it. It's just one of those most amazing glow that comes off of it that you have in jewelry as a specimen piece. Any of that you can just see. It's just amazing. So if you love amber, drop us a heart, give us an orange heart or something like that in the comments. And like I said, if you like talking about rocks and crystals, this is our show. We go over all the little details and explore the stones, explore the fossils, and we're going to be going A to Z. So join us. This is going to be a long march. There's over 100 stones on the list, so it's a long way to go, but we're still in A's. Help us by subscribing. We're all going to get there together. We're looking to get to our first 100 subscribers. And I hope that you would put in in the comments below your favorite stone. If you're listening to this show, I hope you're also getting something out of the show as well, just by the discussion and being able to talk about rocks openly, as we love to do. And I think that's good enough for this episode. We're going to be doing another crystal vision as readily as possible, because I really enjoy looking at all the different specimens in the amber, and I kind of need to sort them to put them on the internet as well. So come along for the ride. Be sure to subscribe so that you can catch up on those as well. They're going to be under Amber Vision. That it won't be on Spotify, but it will only be on YouTube. So join us for that. And all right, until next time, my friends, be well.